And now, right to your host of this House of Musicians, Barry Smith.
Hey, folks. Good evening, fine listener, and welcome to this House of Musicians radio show here on Reality Radio 101. We hope you enjoy the next hour with us as we do our small part to help promote musicians, bands, and of course, Gary, venues. Gary Labar, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Very stoked about tonight's guest. He has an awesome video out, new album coming out, and it's really good stuff, Gare. So we're excited to have Ryan Connolly on the show tonight. Ryan, How are you, bud?
How's it going, man? How is everybody doing?
Well, we're all doing good, and I know the listeners are excited to talk about what you have going on. But before we start, Ryan, I want to ask you how you were influenced by music when you were younger. Was it your parents? Did they play instruments? Maybe an older brother with an album collection? And who you were inspired by?
So my parents were not musicians. My dad was an athlete. My mom, I think she'd like to say she was a musician, but I think she sang in a church choir, which was pretty much the extent of her knowledge or experience within music. So I just kind of picked it up on my own. And my influence, so to speak, was to be honest with you, I listened to punk rock growing up, and I guess Mike Ness was the guy that kind of started me on the path to music from Social Distortion.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome. That of course, punk music was a real big thing there. Right after the classic rock was big. So there was a lot of big punk scene going on as well. Did you learn playing guitar when you were younger? Did you learn punk, or what did you learn to play?
So I think I started with simple, just chord progressions and trying to figure out chords and how your fingers can work with you. But essentially, I think it was just punk rock songs and Johnny Cash and simple melodies that I thought were catchy.
Yeah, we all cut our teeth on Folsom Prison. A lot of guitar players, that's for sure. I know I did.
Absolutely. It's such a simple lick, but it sticks with you. So I think that's the trick. It's not so much the making it difficult, but making people listen. And that's the trick.
Absolutely agree. Before you were into music, or before you got serious about music, I know you've come a long way since then, but let's talk about your hockey. You were a great hockey player. I want to talk about that for a bit and why you switched to music.
Yeah, so I played hockey growing up. I actually played hockey and football growing up, and it was something that I pretty much devoted all of my time to. So partying, I did have a lot of fun in high school, but for the most part, my focus was on sports, to try to get to the next level, or to try to get a scholarship, or whatever the case may have been. But just like everybody, you fall short, you don't quite make it, you get injured, things happen. And I'm still a little bit bitter about it, to be honest with you. Like, when I think back on it, I don't miss it at all. But when you think about the amount of time you put in, which is even related to music too, it's just so much time in, and you don't have anything to show for it at the end of the day. You're not playing in the show. So it's tough. Absolutely. And I get why people get depressed about it and stuff like that when you hear about it, because when people, you train 5 or 6 times a week and it doesn't end up working out for you, it's a hard pill to swallow.
It absolutely would be, because I know you spent a long time in the juniors and you jumped up to the NCAA, which is very impressive. So injuries indeed will keep so many people from moving forward. But I think what you're doing now is great as well. Like I say, I absolutely dig the video, and I want everyone to check it out. We're going to listen to the song here in just a little bit, but I want to talk about how this album that's coming out soon, I know you have a single out that we're going to play, but how this album came to be, how it all started.
Yeah, so I met, to be honest with you, I did an album 2015 with another producer, and that's kind of where I got my legs within the country or the music world, so to speak. My brother and I started a band called the Mudslingers, and we released a couple songs to radio, which did okay, but our first one ended up doing the best, and it was called Devil's Ways. So that gained some national support within Canada and even some places in the States. And basically, that's what kind of gave us our base of fanship, so to speak, and then gave us our live performances. So I got to open for some really cool people from 2015 to 2017, so including like Sass Jordan and Aaron Burchett and Granger Smith, like we talked about off air.
Yeah, sure. That's amazing, bud.
Yeah. So I ended up meeting Rob at that show, with the Granger show, and basically
Rob Laidlaw,
to play bass. And so Rob Laidlaw, who is my producer and also a kind of Canadian music icon, and I know you know that, Barry, but
for sure, he's amazing.
I'm sure. Yeah,
very talented.
I such a talented musician and just a genuinely nice person. We met at that show because I had hired him as a musical director, and to play bass for the show. And we kind of just hit it off. We agreed on a lot of the things that we were trying to accomplish. And I approached him afterwards to see if he wanted to make an album, and he was ready. And I think from that point on, when we made that decision, we took our time. It was very organic. And we just kind of put the pedal to the metal, and we started off with like 15 or 20 songs, and we narrowed it down to 8. And that's what we have in our album right now. Yeah,
sure. And how far along is the album? Is it complete and you're ready for release?
So yeah, COVID ended up changing some of our dates as to what we wanted to do, but it also helped things, so to speak, because we ended up recutting a lot of the vocals and a lot of the harmonies during COVID just to make, the whole project stronger. So COVID was a gift, but it was also, we had to pump the brakes because we were ready to go to radio in 2020, and it was just for everything for COVID. It kind of screwed everything up. But it is what it is. Where I'm kind of thankful. I'm thankful that we got the extra time to do what we needed to do to make this album and project better, or the best it could be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of artists got really creative during the last couple of years, and they have, really good material because of it. They had more time to work on it and figure it out and all that kind of stuff. So that's So I agree with
it's bettering yourself, right? It's bettering yourself within whatever your best is. I think COVID brought a lot more time and a lot more ability to look at within that realm and see like where you're standing and where you want to be, rather than just kind of, we all go to work, we all have our own day-to-day lives, but COVID kind of changed that. And I think it was for the better in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I agree, my friend. I agree. Now, you had a band, let's go back a little bit. You had a band with your brother, Mudslingers, and I want to ask, the first time you came out on stage to play live, or even opening for an act, opening for an act somewhere in a big venue, man, what did that feel like, brother? The first time you walk out on stage. I mean, I know that you would have played probably a lot of pubs and that, before that, and got a lot of practice and whatnot, but the first time you walked out, please tell me that story and who it was and what it was about.
Yeah, so the first my first experience, what you're talking about, would have been Sass Jordan in we played a bar called Memphis North, and there wasn't a ton of people there. It was probably about 1,000, but the room was extremely small. And I mean, it was Sass Jordan, Sass Jordan had a great, she had a great career and
great following.
I think that was my first experience, I guess, what you're talking about, of being on a stage and seeing people actually completely engaged in what you're doing. That's what kind of made this happen. It's like, I don't think you can explain the feeling of being on stage and having, 1,000 eyes or 15,000 eyes directly pointed at you and watching your every move. And it's something, there's the connection between the listener and the artist is something that is not really explainable in words. You have to have done it, and you have to be able to feel it. I mean, I've been on the other side, being in an arena watching, let's just say, Eric Church or Led Zeppelin, or I'm just throwing names out there, but when you connect with that artist, it's the same thing with the artist connecting with the audience. It's irreplaceable.
Yeah, I just imagine 15, 20,000 people, that's for sure. Were you freaked out?
Absolutely. It's terrifying, but it's also exhilarating to the point in which you're not scared. You're just like, you feel like you're on top of the world where nothing can stop you. You know what I mean? And your confidence just where you would normally be nervous and you would hear it in your voice. There's something about it where you're just, for me anyways, that you just feel like, you know what, I'm exactly where I need to be right now.
Yeah, and belt it out. Absolutely. Good for you. Well, let's do this, Ryan. I can't wait for everyone to hear this song. It's an amazing song. Why don't we go ahead and play this new single that's out? I want folks to check out the video online too, because it's real killer. And it's called Riding This Town. Riding This Town. We have Ryan Connolly on the show. Check out the video on YouTube. It's awesome. And let's listen to Riding This Town right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
Riding this town like a night train on the highway. I'm gonna do things my way. Running tattoos on this town as I'm driving around, as I'm burning it down. Just like Jason Aldean. Just like I'm Jason Aldean. Riding down this highway, it never felt so my way till I took off in the C28, American made, 500 horses on an open terrain. I popped the clutch and I slammed the gas. I'm going nowhere but somewhere fast. 6 gears of freedom, baby, don't make it last. Amarillo skies and asphalt. Riding this town like a night train on the highway. I'm gonna do things my way. Running tattoos on this town as I'm driving around, as I'm burning it down in this little country town. Feeling like a freight train in the right lane. Pedal to the metal, man, you gotta hear the engine sing. You're over there in a passenger seat and you're hollering out at me, just like Jason Aldean. Yeah, baby, I got a wild side. I'll put the pedal to the metal while I'm looking you in the eye. I'm in a straight line to the neon lights. Drinking and smoking and smoking and drinking. And when them lights go down, we'll be falling around and drinking them down and falling around and drinking them down and falling around and drinking them down. Cause Jason Aldean, yeah, he's coming to town. Riding this town like a night train on the highway. I'm gonna do things my way. Running tattoos on this town as I'm driving around, as I'm burning it down in this little country town. Feeling like a freight train in the right lane. Pedal to the metal, man, you gotta hear the engine sing. You're over there in a passenger seat and you're hollering out at me, just like Jason Aldean. Riding this town like a night train on the highway. I'm gonna do things my way. Running tattoos on this town as I'm driving around, as I'm burning it down in this little country town. Feeling like a freight train in the right lane. Pedal to the metal, man, you gotta hear the engine sing. You're over there in a passenger seat and you're hollering out at me. We back on a hick town, nothing down. Blasting out that Johnny Cash, no looking back. Wheels rolling, hot rolling. Come on, kick it, just like I'm Jason Aldean.
Well, as Gary says, folks, welcome back to the show. We just heard an amazing song. We have Ryan Connolly on the show, and that song was Riding This Town. And man, powerful. The vocals are great. Ryan, the music is amazing. So it's right out there, man. What a great song, bud. How did you guys come up with that tune?
So a lot of time in, to be honest with you, Barry. Originally, I had the concept of creating a song that would tell a story using Jason Aldean's not lyrics, but song titles from the last 10 years or 12 years. And Jason Aldean is a very famous country, male country star right now. So essentially what I did was I just picked a lot of the songs that I felt like would be great to tell a story, and built a story out of those titles. And I had a riff originally that I thought would fit good because it's something that Jason would have done, you know, in the past. So I just felt like kind of mixing them all up and creating this kind of countrified story about somebody kind of in love with freedom and not really caring about too much other than having a good time. And that's the way it came out. I think it's a fun song. When it's a song that you want to listen to, roll the windows down and hit that gas and kind of just go on a ride.
And crank it up, and it's so rocky, like it's really rocky too. It fits right in with today's music, man. I think it's a great song. I think there's a lot of potential with that tune. Love the video, guys. Go out and check the video out too out there. It's Ryan Connolly, and it's Riding This Town. Ryan, great job, man. And the video is really good too. So I want folks to see that. And so tell me about where you did the video and how long you had, how long you've been working on it. The video and the song.
So the song essentially started with me just in my basement in let's just call it 2016. And I had the chorus, but I did not have verses, and I didn't have what the hell I was going to talk about really. So that took a little bit of time, but essentially I think when I met Rob, the song came together more so than it was before, because I had the riff, but I didn't really have any direction as to where I wanted to go with the verses. So when I met Rob, because he has such a rock background, I wasn't as scared to kind of explore the concept of using rock to my advantage rather than, try to do it country-wise. So I feel like the song is more rock than country. It has a country undertone, but it is a rock song. It's as close as you get to rock in country than anything. So it took a long time to kind of figure out how we were going to approach it. And then the video, we did it Dockville I can't remember where. I think it's closer to Peterborough. But yeah, we did it at Dockville, and Rob's good buddies with Doc. And we kind of just got the space, and we had done a bunch of pictures and stuff, promo stuff there before. And we both said, this would be a great place to film a video. And Doc was completely open to it, and he opened his doors, and I got some girls, or I got a girl, and Rob also got a girl. I mean, the girl in the video is actually Rob's girlfriend. And we kind of just used everything to our advantage, and I think it speaks for itself. It's a great video. It's got a lot of energy, and it definitely feels like you're somewhere in the South.
Yeah, and it's very, it's very competable too, man. Like, you can compete with that video and that song. I'm just curious when you figured out, at what age you figured out you could learn to sing.
To be honest with you, Barry, the vocal aspect of music it's always been something that I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll play in a band, but I'm not going to be the singer. And,
right.
That was kind of the way I always approached that. And then it was like, okay, well, maybe I can do it. And to be honest with you, if you listen to the first album, it's like my vocals are all over the place. I'm way too high. I'm way too low. I had no idea what I was doing. So I got a vocal coach and kind of just approached it in small increments, because I don't have like the Adele voice where I'm going to be able to have falsetto and all that kind of stuff, or, or Jason Aldean, where he has a whole bunch of range, so to speak. But I feel like because my influence is rock and punk rock, and country tells a great story, I'm able to approach the genre in a different kind of way, and my rock edge comes out when I'm at my best. My vocal is my best in a rock format. So I feel like I use rock to my advantage, so to speak. Yeah.
And it works with the music you're doing. It works with that song too, as well. So I have to ask you, I know it's still new, but has Jason Aldean heard it? Obviously you're a big fan of his. Did he hear it?
To be honest with you, so I'm a big Eric Church guy.
Yep.
I mean, Aldine has always been up there too, but I never really like loved Aldine, so to speak. But his titles are so catchy and his lyrics are so country. So I just used him because I think that the way I wanted to write the song, he was the best fit for what we were trying to accomplish. And I don't know if he's heard it, to be honest with you. I mean, I've tagged him in a bunch of stuff, and the song is trending everywhere in Canada right now. Like Quebec, so to speak, has got, I think, we've got 25 radio stations in Quebec playing the song. And,
awesome.
And a dozen in Ontario. Yeah, it's really taking off. It seems like people like it. Like originally when we had released the song to Spotify and all the streaming platforms, the bridge at like 2 minutes and 10 seconds was a rap bridge. And we took the rap bridge out to go to radio. And I think that really helped us because I think a lot of the authentic country community does not like the rap in it. I mean, I thought the rap was really cool. And the version we just listened to did not have it. But if you listen on Spotify, there's actually a rapper that raps through the bridge. And I think that's something that Aldine would do. But I mean, Jason Aldean is Jason Aldean, and I'm Ryan Connolly. I'm not allowed to do that yet, so to speak. So hopefully I get.
I don't know. I disagree. I like it. I think it's good. I think it belongs in there.
I do too. But I mean, people need to open their eyes and let music be music rather than trying to categorize it. Like, people want to put everything in a box, and I think music is best when it's not in a box and it's just natural.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, versatile and natural. But that song is definitely a very good song, and I'm sure. So now Rob helped you. Did you your writing process? Did Rob help you write that song, Rob Laidlaw?
So I wrote all of the melody, and I wrote all of the lyrics. Rob helped me in the sense of putting the lyrics together. Rob is really a genius of knowing where to make things punch and where to take out words and, put words in, and, maybe that's not the right verse to use there, or not the right sentence to use. Try something else. So like Rob doesn't try to take the steering wheel, so to speak. He really does work with the artist, which is something that I really appreciate. And, I mean, we've wrote together where we've shared lyrics before, but I think this was like, as much as the lyrics were mine at the beginning, this song wouldn't have happened without both of us there. So it's a 50-50. Like we worked on it together, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. And what a strong song to start with. Very.
It was actually his idea to come to. Yeah, it was his idea to go to radio first with Aldine and with Writing This Town, and I think it was the right decision. I was at the beginning. I was very scared in the sense that you go to radio the first time and it's like it's not completely in the country realm right now, right? Like if you listen to country, pop country, so to speak, there's no guitars even. It's like banjo and like overdubs, and a lot of pop is really what's popular right now. And yeah, he just said, go with this. This is what you are, and represent what your best bet is to be authentic. And I really appreciate that he did that.
Absolutely. And you couldn't have a better guy to help you. That's for sure. Now I know we were talking about there's rap in the song, but I kind of think it's a good thing, Ryan, because, there's a lot of young people out there that like rap and like country and will go to a country concert, and to throw rap in there, like that's kind of the thing that's in these days. So I think it fits in the song, bud. I really do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And when we originally, sat down to do this song, it was either going to be a big, a guitar solo, or it was going to be rap. And I think the rap, it sits better, to be honest with you. I agree with you, Barry. But unfortunately, the country world has some blinders on still. So you got to be careful what you put out there for people to listen to.
Uh-huh. So the album that you have coming out now, did you write all the songs?
Yeah. So Rob and I, for the most part, we write together everything. So like, there's a song called One Love on the album. And, I mean, Rob
we're getting teasers. We're getting
Yeah.
teasers right on.
We are. And he wrote the full chorus, like that whole chorus. He had ready to go, and she's like, what kind of story can you tell? And then like a song like Time Flies, we didn't really have a chorus, but I had a bunch of verses, and I knew where I thought the chorus should be. So we wrote the chorus together. And I think a lot of the time when you're writing with somebody, it sometimes working on things for countless hours is not the best approach. I think if it doesn't come out right away, sometimes it's just not meant to be, and you go back and tackle it later. And that's really how our process has been. Like everything that we've done and we've accomplished together, it's like I said before, it's been so natural. It's like we can write a song in 25 minutes and it's done, and it's complete. We have the verse, we have the chorus, and we have the bridge, and it's done. And then it's just about making those things better after that. But it's been honestly very, in my musical history or musical experience to date, it really hasn't been easier than it is right now, just because the chemistry that we have is effortless. So it's something that I hope continues for a long time.
Absolutely, and it's great to hear that too. I want to talk about Ryan touring. Were you touring before COVID, up to COVID? Were you on tour during COVID and you had to stop? And tell me a little bit about back when you were touring.
So yeah, COVID ruined the music industry, so to speak. It didn't ruin it; it closed it. Which, I mean, for us artists, it's very tough because there's nowhere to play, there's nothing to do. We literally can write and track and produce and do whatever you can in that realm, but there's not really much that happened through COVID that I could say that, at least for me anyways, like I wasn't going south of the border, I wasn't going to Europe or anything like that. So COVID was a very slow period, but it was also the time where we were writing this album. So, I think I'm thankful for COVID. It made this piece of work much stronger than it was to begin with.
Well, there are some definite positives of COVID as well, and I think a lot of people realize that. And artists, like I say, did have, and you said, have had an awful lot of time to work on projects and perfect them. So you hear a lot of good stuff coming out now, that's for sure. So do you only play the guitar? Is that the first instrument you learned how to play, or?
No, I kind of mess around with all the instruments. I wouldn't say that I'm a great drummer, but I can drum. And I mean, bass and guitar kind of go hand in hand, so you can kind of play both. But I wouldn't be comfortable sitting on stage or standing on stage playing either if I was put under the gun to make sure that this is going to be great. But if we're in a basement and we're jamming, then I can definitely play both. And guitar is definitely my first instrument, and I love it. It's really what got me into music. At 13, I had no idea I was going to be a singer, but I definitely wanted to play guitar. So,
how'd you get your first guitar?
I bought it with my own money.
Good for you.
I think I sold a pair of hockey skates.
Wow.
That when I was younger, my dad was not a roofer at the time, but my dad had a roofing company for a long time, and that's what we did as summer jobs. So I bought those skates with roofing money, and then I outgrew them and I sold them to buy a guitar. So that's where my first guitar came from.
Well, I've been doing, and it was
go ahead. I believe it was an Ibanez X series, which was like a very cheap metal guitar. And I was playing punk rock at the time, so it was perfect. It sounded really junky, and I didn't really know how to tune the guitar anyway, so it didn't matter. But I could play power chords, and that was really all I wanted it for. So things progressed from there. I'm a Gibson guy, like through and through. At this point, I think I've had every guitar in the book, but I'm a Gibson guy for sure.
Yeah, that's good. And how many guitars do you own?
So right now I've got a J45, which is an acoustic, and that's kind of my songwriting guitar. And then I had a Hummingbird for the longest time that I played live shows with if I was going to play acoustic, but I just sold that. And I also, for my electrics, I had a Fender Telecaster. I had that. It was the American Deluxe, but I sold that as well. So now I have just my Gibson. I got a gold top Les Paul, which is a 59 reissue, but it's a custom shop. So yeah, it's the custom shop that they came out, I think 2019. So it's my baby. It was gifted to me by my girlfriend, and
wow.
It was
She's
quite
a keeper.
It was quite the gift. She's a keeper. Yeah, she's a keeper, and so is the guitar.
Absolutely. And let's talk about. I know you have a
I'll
release.
have it for a long time.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Ryan. The gold tops are beautiful guitars. There's no doubt about that. I want to play another song of yours now. This is not out to video yet, is it?
It's not. No. So the song that you're going to play, is called Doors.
Yep.
And it's actually going to release to all streaming platforms on Friday. And this is kind of I think this is the song of the album. I think that this is the strongest song. It's the best written song. And I think that it's just my honest, Barry, it's me, and it's my experience up until this date. And I don't think that, I was originally going to name the album Doors just because I thought that if there's anything that I want to leave on this album or introduce myself as, it'll be this song. So I think it's just a song about hope and faith and believing in what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And I mean, we all go through hard times, but if you stick with it, usually you can come out on top. So that's what this song is about.
Great. Let's have a listen, folks. I have Ryan Connolly on the show, the Ryan Connolly Project, right, Ryan?
It is.
Yes, and we've already heard one amazing song. Let's listen to another song of Ryan's called Doors on this House of Musicians radio show right here on Reality Radio 101.
These changes are happening now. I don't understand it, and I can't figure out why this one door closes when I want it to open. So take my hand, hold me up, got a falling, and I need to hear you calling stronger, yeah. Cut these chains that are styling my changes are coming, 'cause when one door closes, another door opens again. It opens again. These changes I just can't understand. I keep putting my foot down on the ground, and I fall down on my knees. I'm begging, please. So take my hand, hold me up, God, I'm falling, and I need to hear you calling stronger, yeah. Cut these chains that are styling my changes are coming, 'cause when one door closes, another door opens again. I don't know if I could see myself standing this strong on my own. I just gotta let go. I bust down this door that I know. I believe that I can change. How changes are happening. We understand it, we figured it out. When one door closes, another door opens. So take my hand, hold me up, God, I'm falling, and I need to hear you calling stronger again. Cut these chains that are styling closes, another door opens again. It opens again. Doors open again.
Hey, welcome back, folks. I have Ryan Connolly on the show, and we just heard just an amazing song. Ryan, I want you to talk to me about Doors. It's incredible how versatile the two songs are that we played tonight.
Yeah. So, I mean, Riding This Town, all about rock and fun, kind of not giving a shit about anything. And this song is completely different. This is, to be honest with you, I think it's just a reflection of what it is that I am, and my own life experiences and what's brought me to this point. And to be honest with you, bad things happen to everybody, and it's really what you do with those negative experiences, and whether you use them to your advantage or you let them break you. And Doors is just about the gradual, I guess, life experience, and really using the experiences that you're given and using them to your advantage, and making sure that you keep a positive attitude and keep your faith, and make sure that you believe in what you're trying to accomplish. And I think if you stay true to those things, good things happen. And that's been my experience so far, Barry. The more work you put in, the better things, the outcome always is better when you really do dedicate yourself into something. So, I think Doors is really just a reflection of what my life experience has been sort of up to this date.
That's great, and it's a very positive message, as you say. How long have you had that song laying around, or is it a new one?
That song cooked up, so it was actually kind of influenced by, I got divorced in 2016, and I think that whole experience kind of shook me a bit, and a lot of it was my fault, a lot of it was her fault. But I think after you've been through those experiences and look at them from another person's perspective, you gain so much knowledge, and you gain so much experience. And I think in the end of the day, when nobody is perfect, but I think when you try to understand somebody else's experience, or you try to understand somebody else's opinion, you're always going to be blessed with some kind of positive outcome. And Doors, the song is really just about never giving up and always trying to win. You have to keep on getting up, man. Like, if you get knocked down, you got to get up. If you don't get up, you're a quitter, and you're going to be forgotten. So get up and keep on going, and stay strong. And that's what Doors is.
Yeah, absolutely, and it shows in the message as well. Great song, Ryan. Well written, well done. Let's talk a little more about the album, and I want to mention the release party again. Let's do that.
Yeah, so release party, we're going to do it January 29th. We're going to do it at Drummond Flats in Whitby, and it's essentially going to be a rock show with a little bit of a country twang. And we're really looking forward to it, because it's the first time we've done it as a band. And COVID just kind of shook the grounds on everyone, so to speak. So I think that January 29th is going to be a lot. For the most part, it'll be all of our original stuff, but we're going to do some covers too. And I think I was talking to Rob about this the other day. I just want to make a set list that really does kind of reflect or explain what we are as a band. So if we're going to play 10 original songs, I want the 4 songs or the 5 songs that we pick as covers to be a reflection of what it is or what we're aspiring to be. And it's hard to pick covers these days, because I mean, there's so many great songs and there's so many great artists out there, but what will define you as a band, or what are you trying to do? I think that's what I'm looking forward to, kind of narrowing down and making that set list for that release party. And everyone is invited. It's going to be a drum and flats in Whitby, January 29th. And yeah, I hope you guys can make it. Just inbox me, or I have Facebook, I have Instagram. Inbox me, and I'll make sure I hook you up with a ticket.
Great, that's awesome, people. There you go. Go check Ryan out. And will there be an Eric Church or Jason Aldean song on the album?
Of course, there's definitely going to be an Eric Church one. Because I, in my personal opinion, Eric Church is the best songwriter and artist going in country music right now. So
very popular.
I hope. For me, it's not about the popular. I just find he's a great songwriter, and the way that he approaches songwriting is something that I aspire to become one day. He's a craftsman at using words, and I mean, they say the less words you use to tell a story are better. But his ability to come through in his words, it blows me away every time. Are you an Eric Church fan? I haven't heard too much of his stuff. No. Yeah, you gotta check him out. I don't know if you're a rock guy.
I will definitely check him out now.
Yeah, you got to. He's something else. He really is.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, I look forward to it. I'll check out
Eric Church's tires. There we go.
That's another song right there.
There it is. It is another song.
Right on, Ryan. That's cool, man. So I want you to tell me, I love my favorite part of the show. I ask every artist, kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but I want to ask you, tell me a crazy story that's happened to you, either on the road, touring, in a studio, on stage, just something crazy that's happened to you.
There's a lot. I don't know.
Good. That's a good thing.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say on this show. That's the problem. I think the craziest thing I've ever done is I signed up a guy's ass on stage.
Wow, that's crazy.
Kind of,
for sure.
It was very different. He spread his cheeks and I signed his ass, which was a different experience altogether. But I mean, the other stuff I don't think we can talk about on air. But definitely the weirdest experience was him jumping on stage and asking me to sign his ass, for sure.
I would hope that he had a long stick taped to that marker.
No, he didn't. To be honest with you, I was drunk at the time, so I just went for it. And yeah, I guess I probably should have washed my hands after, but I don't think I did that either.
Well, you know what? When you're in the spur of the moment, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
What else you got? There must be something else, man. That's we have to keep it clean. Yes, you're right, Ryan. We got to keep it clean. Yeah. But how about meeting somebody cool?
I mean, I've met so many cool people so far within my musical experience but I think, actually the craziest thing that's happened to me on stage.
I knew we'd get it out of you.
Not the craziest, but I guess the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. So going back to like 2013 or 2014, I was playing electric guitar, and it wasn't even I wasn't even the lead guy. It was another guy singing, and I was just playing guitar. And for whatever reason that night, I had forgotten to bring my locking straps. So I had a guitar strap on, but it wasn't locked. And here I am playing on the left side of the stage, and I step up to hit a little, riff, and my guitar fell right out of my hands. And I was looking at about 500. I was looking at about 500 people, and my guitar was on the floor and making weird noises because I guess. I'm sure you've dropped a guitar or you've heard a guitar drop. It's not the nicest sound in the world. And
yeah, but everybody might have loved that.
No,
except you.
It wasn't. It was not good.
Okay.
And the guy that I was playing with wasn't a guy that had been around for a long time, so he was trying to make it a kind of an impression. And yeah, it wasn't my finest moment on stage. It was definitely the most memorable. I will tell you that. I will never play a show without guitar locks or strap locks.
Another learning curve. Another learning curve right there.
Yes.
How was the guitar?
Yes, absolutely. Guitar was fine. Jack was broken, which I just got to grab another patch cable. But yeah, definitely the most embarrassing experience on stage in my life. Not a good feeling to drop your guitar, and then you're stuck going over to your panel and tuning everything back up, and then you try to drop back into the song, and everyone's looking at you like a fool. But definitely not a good experience. But you asked about a crazy story. That is, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone drop their guitar on stage in my experience so far. But I did it.
Well, with the power of these songs that you have out and your look, your singing, the video, I think you're going to be touring and again here soon. And you know what? You're going to have a lot more embarrassing experiences. Hopefully not too bad, but I don't think this will be your worst because these songs are incredible. But
thank you. To be honest with you, I don't care about getting embarrassed. If these songs if these songs get around the world and if I got to drop my guitar a couple more times or sign a couple more asses, I'm good with that.
Absolutely, man, for sure. And it's a lot of fun too. So there you go.
It is, man. It's the best industry in the world. They're the best job in the world. And right now, I'm a mechanical contractor by day, so I get up at 4:30 in the morning and go to work just like everybody else. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the day where I can say, you know what, I can do this for a living. But for the time being, it's a grind, and it's a grind for everybody. Music is such a hard way to earn a living, but it's also the most gratifying when you're able to. So, it's a dream worth chasing.
Absolutely, for sure. I agree 100%. I want to ask you, I know you said your dad was an athlete and then had a roofing company. So I've been roofing for 31 years, and I just want to first ask you what your dad did, what sport he was in or what his strengths were as being an athlete and how that influenced you into hockey.
So my dad was a football player. I actually, like I said, I did both for the longest time. And I guess when things got a little bit more competitive, I had to pick one or the other. So I picked hockey. But my dad's a very hard man. Most roofers are. And you're saying if you've done roofs for 30 years, if anyone's listening has done a roof, you know what hard work is once you've done one. So if you do it every day, you become. I mean, my siblings and I call my dad a monster because he is. There's no feeling in his body. He's hard from his head to his toes, and it's not an easy living. But yeah, I completely respect him for what he did for us growing up, and he got out of it in his, I think, early 30s or mid 30s, but he continued to do it on the weekends, to allow us to do what we wanted to do with it, whether it was hockey or sports, any kind of sports or music or whatever it was that we needed to pay for. My dad would do roofs on the weekend to let us do those things. And yeah, we grew up with nothing, essentially, or very little, and he made it possible for us to do those extra things. So I'll never forget those things. And hopefully people are blessed to have a father like that, like I did.
Yeah, and I feel a dad song coming soon.
Yeah, there's going to be a dad song, but I mean, unfortunately, we're like oil and vinegar. Like we do not go well together. We love each other, but we're not great in the same room together. But yeah, there's definitely a mutual respect and something that I hope one day I have the courage to write that song, because he'd be a hell of a man to try to write a song about.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Great to hear that. And being a football player, that's no slouch either. That's for sure. Roofing's tough, but so is football.
Yeah, I think roofing's tougher when you've already worked a full week and then you go do a roof on the weekend, or you know what I mean? It's just, they're about sacrifice. It's just like anything else, whether you're doing music or you're doing sports, it's the amount of time you put into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish that makes you successful. So if you want a successful family, you got to work, and he did that. And I think my work ethic definitely comes from my upbringing for sure.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's amazing. And I want to ask you about upcoming tours. Do you have any upcoming tours? Are you working on that?
Yeah,
I know you're gonna do a release party for an album here, which we're all excited to hear. But what about? Go ahead.
Upcoming tours, we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff at West. I think in the new year to try to get that rolling, and then definitely south of the border too. I'm talking to some people right now to try to get a couple things lined up for festivals down there. And then, we've applied to Boots and Hearts, and we've done all those kind of things too. So we're waiting to see what happens with that. But definitely, we'll have some local shows in the area, and definitely some stuff out west and south of the border in the upcoming year.
We're glad to hear that, bud. And tell everybody again where they can find all your stuff, man.
So if you go to Facebook, you can type in the Ryan Connolly Project, or you can just type in my name, which is Ryan Connolly. And Instagram is the Ryan Connolly. And I had 2 accounts for the longest time because I try to separate work from just pleasure. But unfortunately, it's very hard. So I just made 1 account. So it's the Ryan Connolly. And basically, the 2 accounts are the same thing. You go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, you're going to see the same stuff. But basically, any kind of live shows or live performances we have going on, you'll be able to pick them up there. And then anything that we're going to release or where we're going or what we're doing will be on there. So you can catch us there. And my website is theryanconnollyproject.com.
Bud, I love your stuff. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Before we go, though, there's a segment of the show I like to do called, well, Gary LeBar, what do you think?
What do I think? Can you say big and rich? That's what I think. Riding This Town is the epitome of a great song of Big and Rich. It reminded me of them. And
I'd like to be promoting that tune.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of strength.
It's a beautiful song, and it's well put together. Both songs are produced excellent, very commercial.
I agree.
Yeah, and I enjoyed both of them. And I think there is a bit of country there, and of course there is pop rock there, and I think they're both suited for radio, which is important, very important. And I think the commercial ability of it is wonderful, put together well, great songs. Kudos. Good luck, man.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, and you know what, Ryan? I'm sure you were just amazed the first time you drove down the road, and I know you said that there's at least 25 music stations in Quebec that are playing the song. And when just tell me quickly, we're going a little over, that's okay, bud, but I'm interested to know the first time you were driving down the road and you heard your song on the radio.
Yeah,
that must have been something.
I'll never forget. Yeah, first time, Barry, was in 2015 when I heard Devil's Ways for the first time. So what happened was I had never went through this whole experience before either, right? Like I didn't know how songs went to DMDS, and I didn't know how things released. I just kind of hired a tracker and said, let me know how we do. And she called me that day. Her name was Linda Daw, and she brought Bob Marley to radio in Canada, and she's a very famous person, so to speak, in radio. And I kind of asked her, she called me, and she's like, you're not going to believe this, but your song went number 5 today on DMDS, which is not just, in Canada, that's in North America, Ryan. She said that your song is beside, like, at the time it was like Ed Sheeran and 3 other artists. I think Blake Shelton had a song on the radio at the time. And I remember looking at my name on that list and going, oh my God, like maybe I can do this. Maybe this is a possibility. Maybe I'm not full of shit. I can actually pull this off. And driving home that day, I was in the work truck driving home, and I flipped the station, and we had a feature on 95.9, and it was Devil's Ways, and I actually couldn't believe it. I said, I cannot believe that, 2 years ago when we went to go start this whole kind of project, that we'd be here right now listening to a song on the radio. And I mean, the song never got played on high rotation on that station but it was featured, and then we did get added all right across Canada, and it kind of gave us wheels. But I'll never forget the first time, like you said, Barry, of hearing it and going, you know what, maybe there's an opportunity here. And really, I've been spinning my wheels ever since, trying to feel the same way.
Buddy, I'm smiling like crazy over here. That's so great to hear. And you know what? I want to thank you again personally for being on the show. It was a pleasure to have you. And I'm going to keep track of what you're doing and follow what you're doing and watch your progress. And we'll get you back on the show in a couple of years or something. Thanks so much, Ryan, for being on the show.
Thanks, Barry. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who took part in making this happen. And hopefully the next time we talk, we'll be on top of the billboards and we'll be able to talk about something better on the road.
Oh yeah. Well, you were wonderful the whole show. Thank you, Ryan. And to the listener, I say thank you for being here, and always dance and sing. Let the music bring your soul to the surface for all the world to see. Until next time, have a shuffle your feet kind of week, and good night. You've been listening to This House of Musicians on Reality Radio 101.